Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining. We want to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shyam Sundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Gauranitai Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So we continue with Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to look at the first chapter today. And the first verse is when Dhritarashtra is inquiring from Sanjay. So let's just dive straight in. The chapter is named Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. And maybe, Naniben, would you like to start the chapter?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you. All right. Observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Text 1. Dhritarashtra said, O Sanjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Text 2. Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhana went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Text 3. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. Text 4. Hearing this army, there are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna, great fighters like Yudhan, Virat, and Drupad. Text 5. There are also great heroic powerful fighters like Drushtaketu, Chekitan, Kashiraj, Purujit, Kunti Bhoj, and Shaibya. Text 6. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu, the very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra, and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters.
Keep
Continue?
going. Yes, please.
Yeah, text 7. But for your information, O best of the Brahmanas, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. Text 8. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somdatta, called Buhilshwara, who are always victorious in battle. Text 9. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake. All of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and are all are experienced in military science. Text 10. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of the Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhishma, is limited. Text 11. All of you must now give full support to grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army.
Okay, thank you. So the first 11 verses, description by Duryodhana mainly of his army. He's sort of being a bit sarcastic towards his guru, Dronacharya, telling him that you taught Dhritarashtra, who is now the commander-in-chief for the Pandavas. Why did you do that? Do you know he's going to kill you? So tongue-in-cheek. But anyway, Dhritarashtra asks Sanjay for help because he was blind. But he knew Sanjay had access to knowledge through his guru, Srila Vyasadeva. So just from the first verse, there's a lesson. In fact, this first chapter is probably the most important chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, even though Krishna says nothing. There's so much instructions. There's about 6 lessons from this chapter alone. Anyway, the first lesson. The king was aware that the battle was taking place in a holy place, and his sons were unholy. So he was fearful. Being blind materially and spiritually, he sought the help of Sanjay to inform him about the battle. So we are also blind in terms of spiritual vision. We also need help. So it's good to acknowledge that we need help. Duryodhana is busy. So the next part from 2 to 11. He's busy counting his army, blinded by greed, envy, material desire. One who is materially entangled of I, me, and mine becomes oblivious to the ill effects of one's actions and anxieties. Frustration and disappointment are inevitable. So we are in that situation. Sometimes we just become so focused on I and mine. It leads to anxiety, it leads to frustration, leads to disappointment. Because we are just trying to fulfill our desires, and our desires will never get fulfilled. Our expectations never get fulfilled. And that's why that leads to disappointment. From our very birth, we are generally brought up in a culture of I and mine, always having expectations from others. And when those expectations are not met, that leads to frustration and anger. So what is the lesson? We have to lower our expectations from others. And instead of living a selfish life, we can live a selfless life where we give ourselves to the service of the Lord, his devotees, and mankind. Everybody, if it's possible. So when we have expectations from others, there will be disappointment because nobody can meet our high expectations. So that's an interesting lesson to learn from chapter number
Prabhuji?
1. Yes. Yes.
Yes. If our expectations can't be made up by others, but what about us working hard towards that? How does that fit in? Because we don't expect, but we may be working in the mode of patience to meet our expectations, and we don't want anything more. We just want to excel in what we are doing, like in bhakti. We want to excel.
Okay. That's first class. That's our duty, to do our very best, materially, spiritually, to do our very best. That's our duty.
Yes,
that's acceptable. But it's more, we have children, we expect them to love us. We have employers, we expect promotion.
Yes.
It may happen, may not happen, but we give it our best shot, we give it our best shot. So, and whether it comes or not, what to do, we have to accept that sometimes we're not going to get what we expect, even if we work hard for it. Yeah. So the working hard to excel in what we're doing is a very much an important part of our being. But to expect results from that, that's where the disappointment might come. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. So expectations, we shouldn't worry about expectation, but merely try to do our duty.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Haribol.
Hare Krishna, yes, Sitara. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, you're speaking a very good topic, But our duty is only, as you said, to satisfy Krishna by devotional service, loving Krishna, doing everything for him. And we should remain always faithful, and we chant the holy name as many as we can. This is our duty. Haribol.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, very good. Very good. Yeah. And, we also, of course, devotional service is the focus, but we're also living in this world with families, and, we have to fulfill various duties. And we do that to the best of our ability. So, okay. So, Karuna, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Would you like to read the English?
Yeah. Okay. Then Bhishma, text 12. Then Bhishma, the great valiant grandsire of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhan joy. Text 13. After that, the conch shells, drums, bugles, trumpets, and horns were all suddenly sounded, and the combined sound was tumultuous. Text 14. On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental conch shells. Text 15. Lord Krishna blew his conch shell, called Panchajanya. Arjuna blew his, the Devdutt, and Bhim, the voracious eater and performer of Herculean tasks, blew his terrific conch shell called Pandra. Text 16 to 18. King Yudhishthir, the son of Kunti, blew his conch shell, the Ananta Vijay, and Nakul and Sahadev blew the Sughosh and Mani Pushpaka. The great archer, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, Virat, the unconquerable Satyaki, Drupad, the sons of Drupadi, and the others, O king, such as the mighty armed son of Subhadra, all blew their respective conch shells.
Oh, you can carry on. There's one more.
Text 19. The blowing of these different conch shells became uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and the earth. It shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra.
So these conch shells are very interesting. Despite Duryodhana's boastful words, the ominous result of this confrontation is made clear from the outset. So this sounding of the conch shells, yeah, it's described that it broke the hearts of the Pandava, of the Kauravas, the blowing of the conch by Krishna and Arjuna and all of them. It just shattered the hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So lesson number 3, being so selfish ends in misery. So we can compare Duryodhana to Yudhishthir, when at one point Dronacharya, he requested Duryodhana, go out into the kingdom and find somebody who's better than you. And Duryodhana went out. He came back after some time and he said to Dronacharya, I couldn't find anybody better than me. I'm the best. And then to Yudhishthir, he gave a mission, find somebody in the kingdom who's worse than you. So Yudhishthir went out and he researched, looked around the kingdom, came back after some time to Dronacharya and he said, couldn't find anybody worse than me. See the mood, the attitude. So Duryodhana's attitude was very much taking, I want, gimme. Taking will not result in happiness, but giving can give great satisfaction. We can learn to give ourselves. We can give our thoughts. For example, roughly about 80,000 thoughts go through our mind every day, and most of them are negative. So we can give our thoughts to others, think about others, pray for others, and watch the mind. The mind is just brings us down to negative platforms, generally speaking. And usually we're thinking about how somebody has hurt us in the last day or week or month or year or decade. It's constantly going through our head, that person hurt me. And we're thinking about that. Usually that happens in our thoughts in our day, Many, many times we go through that. We can also give our words. We can appreciate others and be grateful for what we have got. That gratefulness to the Lord is very important, and to others who have contributed to our life in any way. We should be very grateful. And also our actions. We can help others by our deeds according to our capacity. Do our very best to help others. Live for others. And our possessions, according to our capacity, we can assist others. This is very, very important. So this is actually one of the fundamental lessons of the Gita, and it comes in chapter 1. So this is the blowing of the conch. I'm really fortunate at the moment. I'm going through the schools and I'm blowing the conch as an example to the children of how we worship, because before we start our puja, we blow the conch. And it's a beautiful conch, so it sounds nice. And the children always get very enlivened when they hear the conch. All right. Sitaram, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu, Haribol.
Right, yeah.
Text number 20. At the time Arjun, the son of Pandu, seated in the chariot bearing the flag, marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. Arjuna said, O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies, so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in the great trial of arms. Number 23. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. 24. Sanjay said, O descendant of Bharat, having these been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. 25. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assemble here. Thank you, Prabhu.
There might be more. Yeah, there is more. Yeah, you can carry on.
There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties, his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers and sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law, and well-wishers. 27. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Very good. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So this is quite a nice painting which illustrates this particular point where Arjuna is requesting Krishna, please take the chariot in the middle of the battle. I want to see who's come here to fight. It was quite a scene, huh? Quite a scene. Arjuna wants to take a final look at the armies. He orders Krishna, his transcendental charioteer, to drive to the middle of the battlefield so he can assess the situation. Krishna takes Arjuna in front of Bhishma and the other chieftains. And they're the greatest challenge. So, lesson number 4. Despite the intensity of the situation, Arjuna takes time to reflect. Life may be crammed with responsibilities and pressing issues, but the usual excuse of no time should not impede our soul searching or any spiritual activity. So the most common excuse nowadays, I have no time. I have no time. I ain't got time. It's too busy. Too many things going on. And that is one of the biggest diseases that we have. Don't have time for spirituality. Very important to make time. And look at the example of Arjuna. It was right in, the biggest battle of his life. So many soldiers had gathered at Kurukshetra to fight. Yet he's willing to take time out and ask Krishna, tell Krishna, please take my chariot in the middle of the battle. I want to assess the situation. So we need to do the same. We may be busy. Everybody's busy. But we have to take time out to understand where we are at and what we need to do, especially from the spiritual context. Shyam Malini, would you like to read? Oh, I can read, and then maybe she can read later. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. My whole body is trembling. My hair is standing on end. My bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand and my skin is burning. I am now unable to stand any longer. I am forgetting myself and my mind is reeling. I see only cause of misfortune, O Krishna, killer of the Keshi demon. So Arjun, foreseeing the imminent suffering and death that is inevitable consequence of war, he begins to analyze his predicament. At this stage, bereft of broad spiritual vision, he becomes bewildered. Understandably so. It's quite a daunting situation that he's in. So the lesson is that Krishna will bring us face to face with our most unwanted challenge, according to our ability, of course. But we should not be shaken by these challenges. And we talked about this yesterday. The more we sweat in peace, the less we bleed in war. When we practice bhakti, when the situation is calm and good, then we'll be able to face the challenging situations when they come. So often there's a thought that, I'll take shelter of God and he'll take care of all my problems. No, he might even bring those problems right in front of you to make you strong, to make you handle that problem. And he'll give you the ability to handle it. So that faith has to be there. But it's not that the challenges will disappear because we've taken shelter of Krishna. But Krishna will equip us to handle those challenges so that when more other challenges come, we're able to deal with them. We know this is like a roadmap to a life in this material world. Okay.
Prabhu, I can read if you want.
Okay.
Sorry,
Yes,
because my
please.
screen changed and I couldn't swipe yet.
No problem. Go for it.
All right. Text 31. I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kingsmen in this battle. Nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. Text 32-35. O Govinda, of what avail to us or a kingdom, happiness, or even life itself when all those for whom we may desire them are now arrayed on this battlefield. O Madhusudan, when teachers, fathers, sons, grandfathers, maternal uncles, father-in-law, grandsons, brother-in-law, and other relatives are ready to give up their lives and properties and are standing before me, why should I wish to kill them, even though they might otherwise kill me? O maintainer of all living entities, I am not prepared to fight with them, even in exchange for the free worlds, let alone this earth. What pleasure will we derive from killing the sons of Dhritarashtra? Text 36. Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain? O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune, and how could we be happy by killing our own kingsmen?
You can carry on.
Yeah. O Janardhan, although these men, their hearts overtaken by greed, see no fault in killing one's family or quarreling with friends, why should we, who can see the crime in destroying a family, engage in these acts of sin? Text 39. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in irreligion. When irreligion is prominent, in the family, O Krishna, the woman of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood, O descendant of Vrishni, comes unwanted progeny. An increase of unwanted population certainly causes hellish life, both for the family and for those who destroy the family tradition. The ancestors of such corrupt families fall down because the performances for offering them food and water are entirely stopped.
One more. Yeah.
Yeah. By the evil deeds of those who destroy the family tradition and thus give rise to unwanted children, all kinds of community projects and family welfare activities are devastated.
Okay. Oh, we can keep going. I think it's right
Yes.
to the end now. Yeah.
Yes, Baba. Where is it now?
Number 43. Yeah, 43.
Yeah, it's not on. Okay, now I can see. O Krishna, maintainer of the people, I have heard by disciplic succession that those whose family traditions are destroyed dwell always in hell. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. Text 45. Better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra, weapons in hand, were to kill me unarmed, unharmed, and unresisting on the battlefield. Sanjaya said, Arjuna, having thus spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrows and sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief.
Brilliant. I think that's probably the end of this chapter. Arjun justifies his decision to retreat from fighting. So he gives some very, very good reasons, right? There's compassion there. It would be cruel and heartless to prematurely terminate the lives of so many soldiers. There were millions and millions of soldiers. And there was enjoyment, just for the sake of even an unrivaled kingdom would bring no happiness, since he'd be bereft of the company of his near and dear ones, because there was those on the other side who he really loved very much. Like Bhishma, Dronacharya, Kripacharya, his uncles were there. So then there would be the aspect of sin. One surely would accrue bad karma as a result of such brutal violence. And of course, the destruction of the family, the wholesale killing involved would destroy the family unit, social structure, causing havoc for future generations. And he talked about the ladies, how they would become the men would corrupt them, and unwanted progeny would come, and so many social issues come. So all very good material reasons for not to fight. And he resolved not to fight. So lesson number 6, we often come up with excuses not to do bhakti. So we're going to see some of these excuses and how they sort of tie in with Arjun's excuses. So let me enjoy my senses. Oh no, we're too young to do tapasya. That's one reason why not to do bhakti. Of course, this is not necessarily tapasya. When we're doing bhakti, actually it's very enjoyable because we're connecting with the supreme enjoyer. So he's going to share that enjoyment with us. But we put up this wall that we can't do bhakti because it's too austere, too much tapasya, too young. We're too young. I've got the whole of my life in front of me. So I'll do it later. Second, let me enjoy my senses. Let me enjoy myself. Bhakti means you can't enjoy yourself. Of course, that's not quite true because, for example, we can take nice prasad. It doesn't have to be extremely opulent, but it can be delicious because that's what we want to cook for Krishna. So let me enjoy my senses now. Let me not worry about spirituality. You're taking away all the fun in my life. Third one, stopping worshipping demigods. That could be a little bit sinful, right? So just compassion is, like, don't let me do too much austerity. Enjoyment is stopping enjoying my senses. Sinful because you're making me stop worshipping demigods. That's sinful. Actually, we're worshipping the root of the demigods, the source of the demigods. So even the demigods become happy when we're worshipping the source of them. And especially the Lord becomes happy because we are situated rightly, properly. And then the fourth is Krishna consciousness is not in the family tradition. That's another argument that we do often get. So that's in line with, it's not, it's destruction of family traditions. So we are doing something which is outside of the family traditions. Of course, there's also the excuse of no time, as we discussed. We will do bhakti when we're old. Now the lesson is we have to be very careful of our excuses, as they may hamper our progress in Krishna consciousness. So even we may be on the devotional path, but sometimes we may make an excuse that I don't want to do this seva because of this or that. We have to be mindful. We have to be mindful. We try to do as much service as we can. Guru Maharaj always used to say, do it now, do the seva now, because you don't know about tomorrow. You don't know whether you wake up in the morning. So don't be lazy, don't be hesitant. Do the seva. If somebody asks for seva to be done, you do the seva. It's a blessing, it's not a burden. If we think it's a burden to do seva, then Krishna will remove that burden from us. So he won't allow us to do that seva. But if we have the right mood, the right attitude, even if it's a very difficult task, it'll happen. Just like Prabhupada had an impossible task, absolutely impossible task. His spiritual master gave him a task which was, how is it possible for an old man to spread the holy names of the world all over the world, or for holy names of the Lord all over the world? Impossible. But of course, Prabhupada's mood was, I want to serve, I want to do my best, I want to follow the order of my guru. And it happened. Krishna made it happen. Impossible as it sounds, it actually happened. He spread it in every town and village. So mood is very, very important. So let's do an overall summary. We have a certain picture of success usually based on our family, friends, society, media opinions or influence. And we shape our lives in determined pursuit of that success. But at some point, we will begin to doubt whether that perfect life is achievable or will actually make us happy, and question these materialistic goals, aspirations, and milestones of success that have become so deeply ingrained within us, practically from birth. At some point, we will question, is this really giving me happiness? I'm just struggling with these material aspect to my life. Could there be some deeper purpose to life? While this initial doubt can often bring great uncertainty and confusion, it can also bring us to the start of our spiritual journey. It is this very doubt that Arjuna expresses at the outset of this conversation. But if we notice, Krishna hardly spoke. Maybe he just spoke that one verse, behold, in front of you lies the Kuru dynasty. That's all he said. But otherwise he was just silent, because Arjuna was not looking for answers from Krishna at this stage. So similarly, we think we know what we want in order to make our lives happy. And we simply want the Lord to become our order carrier. Fulfill my desire, my Lord. Fulfill my desire. That's all I want. So if that's our mood, then Krishna will just remain silent and we just play good luck with our karma from the past. But if we listen to Krishna, if we want to listen to our spiritual master, then we've got a bright future in the spiritual atmosphere. Any questions, any comments? So that's chapter 1. There's quite a lot in chapter 1. There's a lot of lessons, a lot of instructions. Nanibet?
Yes, one thing which I thought that one of the reasons for not doing this seva is in a family life. One of the partners may be willing to do it, the other partner is not. Especially for the wife, is a bit of an impediment that she can't do, because especially in these our Asian Indian families, the wife is a little bit under the subdued in the family.
True, true. That's very true.
And one thing that would help is parents' guidance to the young children when they're still young. Bring them in the path of Krishna consciousness, and then they can do what they want when they're after the age of 18. But till then, if some knowledge is imparted, it can carry them forward, as we can find in some of the devotees' families.
Absolutely right. Yes, very well put. Your first point about the perhaps the ladies may be a little bit subjugated and not able to practice, or one of the partners is not so keen, and even then, nobody can stop you internally from remembering the Lord, chanting within your mind. There can be many situations where the family members will be, against, bhakti or against this philosophy. But although it might be a little hard, it is possible still to perform bhakti within one's mind or silently. And in fact, Krishna loves that. If there's a challenge and it's so hard and you make an effort, that's where Krishna really, because he looks up. If it's easy and anybody can do it, well, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? You're brought up in a devotee's family, you got nothing else to do, but you do bhakti, but then most of the time you're wasting your time. Krishna won't be so pleased. But he becomes pleased when, like, for example, this past time with Narad Muni, I can't remember the exact details, but Narad Muni was so proud that he could remember God all the time. So then Krishna said to him, okay, hold a glass of water on your head and go around the world. And Narad Muni did that. And Krishna said to him, okay, how many times did you remember me? Oh, I didn't remember you because I was holding the glass of water. What do you think I was doing? But then he said, Krishna said, well, those householders that you were thinking you're better than, they remember me. But they've got so many obligations and duties, but they still remember me. So Krishna becomes very pleased when somebody who's struggling because of their situation, and they still make an effort to serve him. That is real bhakti. When it's easy, anybody can do it. That's why, Guru Maharaj used to say, you put the order of the gurus in the foremost of your life, because he'll stretch you to get better, to improve. And then you won't be lax in your seva. You will always try to do what he tells you. That's what Prabhupada did, He kept that order at the forefront of his mind. My guru has told me, preach in English. Go, or distribute books. It was always in the forefront of his mind. And he did it. So, yeah. Is that okay, Naniman?
Yeah, that's a good point, that you can do it mansi within your mind, even if not physically, but mentally. Good point. Thanks, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anything else? Anybody else? Otherwise, we can stop there. Thank you so much. We try to do chapter 2 tomorrow. Probably be half of it, I think, because it's quite a long, 72 verses as opposed to 46. So, let me stop this. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.